Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about the best Jake Gyllenhaal movies. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Brothers 2009, Gyllenhaal joins other acclaimed actors Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman in the intense drama Brothers. Gyllenhaal plays the wayward brother of Maguire's soldier serving overseas. After Maguire is presumed dead, Gyllenhaal begins helping out his sister-in-law and developing a strong bond. But tensions grow when his brother unexpectedly returns. The cast really makes the most of the intimate and powerful story, with Maguire stepping away from his Spider-Man role to deliver a truly intense performance. It is filled with moments of heartbreaking sadness and unsettling confrontation that make for a compelling thriller. Southpaw 2015, Gyllenhaal has always been a deeply committed actor, and that certainly shows in this intense sports drama. Southpaw is inspired by Eminem. Despite being a sports movie, Gyllenhaal plays a champion boxer who suffers a personal tragedy that sends him into a destructive downward spiral. He then sets himself on a path to regain his championship and win back his daughter. Gyllenhaal's impressive transformation is only the start of what makes his performance so compelling. The movie itself is a fairly standard sports drama and redemption tale, but it features one of Gyllenhaal's best performances, which elevates the material. Jarhead 2005, one of the movies that really launched Gyllenhaal as a leading man, was the Sam Mendes-directed war movie Jarhead. Gyllenhaal plays an aimless young man who joins the army and is shipped out for deployment during the Gulf War, where he contends with boredom and isolation. The movie is a fascinating study of the modern soldier in a unique type of war movie, without big battles or action sequences, but rather focusing on the mindset of these soldiers. Gyllenhaal brings a lot to the role, with humor, intensity, and heartbreak. It also features strong supporting roles from Peter Sarsgaard and Jamie Foxx, among others. Spider-Man Far From Home 2019, Spider-Man Far From Home finds Peter Parker taking a break from fighting crime while on a school trip across Europe. However, he is pulled back in by the emergence of a new threat, as well as a new hero named Mysterio. The sequel continues to prove Spider-Man is one of the MCU's best characters. The movie wisely maintains the high school feel along with all the awkwardness and embraces its comedic side. Gyllenhaal clearly had a ball with his role as Mysterio and his villainous twist. The movie was a bigger hit than its predecessor and cemented Spider-Man as one of the MCU's biggest solo franchises. Zodiac 2007, David Fincher is responsible for some incredible films over his career, but Zodiac remains an underrated true crime masterpiece in his filmography. Zodiac takes a look at the decades-long investigation into the Zodiac killer and the various individuals involved in the case. Gyllenhaal plays Robert Graysmith, a real-life cartoonist who becomes obsessed with the murders. Fincher's dark and creepy tone works perfectly for the movie, which takes a look at the real investigation with fascinating detail. The cast is wonderful, and there is a strange but welcome sense of humor throughout. It is unsettling yet engrossing. While the movie bombed on its initial release, it's since been reappraised as a classic. Nightcrawler 2014, while he was once seen as the next big movie star in Hollywood, Gyllenhaal has taken a much more interesting route, filled with challenging and complex roles. In Nightcrawler, he stars as Lou Bloom, a determined but unhinged professional who tries to break into the seedy business of freelance crime journalism. Gyllenhaal is transformative in perhaps his finest performance to date. He is scary and grotesque despite the fact that he usually has a smile on his face. The movie is a fascinating and perverse take on the American dream and what some are willing to do to achieve it. Many consider Lou Bloom to be Gyllenhaal's best performance to date. Prisoners 2013, Denis Villeneuve has become one of the most exciting filmmakers in Hollywood, and his first English-language film immediately showed him to be a visionary director. Prisoners is a dark thriller about two families whose daughters go missing. One of the fathers goes to extreme lengths to bring his child home while a determined detective investigates. A solid mystery is hard for audiences to resist, especially with this amount of talent in front of and behind the camera. The performances are all intensely effective, and Villeneuve casts an ominous tone over the entire story leading up to Prisoners' powerful ending. Brokeback Mountain 2005, Gyllenhaal began to move outside his boyish roles into more adult roles with the Best Picture nominee Brokeback Mountain. Ang Lee's film begins in the 1960s and follows two sheepherders who begin a passionate affair while working together one summer. For years, they maintain their relationship while hiding it from their families. The film is as beautiful to look at as the story is to experience. Ledger and Gyllenhaal are heartbreaking as two men who bottle up their true feelings. It remains one of the most important cinematic love stories of all time. Both Gyllenhaal and Ledger were nominated, while Ang Lee won Best Director. Source Code 2011, whenever Gyllenhaal does take on a more mainstream genre movie, there's always something interesting about the story that provides the actor with a challenge. Source code fits that description. The sci-fi thriller stars Gyllenhaal as a soldier who is sent back in time to relive a train bombing again and again so he can learn the identity of the bomber. The high-concept story provides an extremely intriguing jumping-off point that keeps unraveling new details about the mystery. Gyllenhaal is great as the confused hero thrown into an impossible situation. The movie was a crowd-pleasing hit, mixing action and sci-fi effectively. Source code's ambiguous ending still has people talking about it. Wildlife 2018. Jerry, his wife, Jeanette, and their son, Joe have recently moved to a small town in Montana near the Canadian border. When Jerry loses his job, tensions rise between the couple and come to a head when he decides to join firefighters tending to a forest fire, leaving his family to fend for themselves. Directed by the Batman's Paul Dano, Wildlife is a beautiful movie adaptation of the 1990 novel of the same title written by Richard Ford. Gyllenhaal co-produced with Dano, who also co-wrote the script with actor and partner, Zoe Kazan. The movie earned positive feedback from critics, who considered it to be a touching piece of filmmaking that heavily relied on drama. Stronger 2017. Jeff is cheering for his girlfriend who is running in the Boston Marathon, but before she can cross the finish line, a bomb explodes, knocking Jeff out. When he wakes up, he learns that he's in the hospital and that they had to amputate both of his legs. On top of the strenuous road ahead of him, Jeff manages to remember enough of the bombing to describe the suspect, resulting in the arrest of one of the bombers. Stronger is a movie based on the unbelievable true story of Jeff Bauman, who survived the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings and was hailed a hero after assisting authorities in the arrest of one of the bombers. The movie is an emotional and raw view into the aftermath of not only Bowman's life but also others who were impacted by the attack. Gyllenhaal shows his natural talent and outperforms in this role. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant 2023. Taking place during the Afghanistan War, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant follows U.S. Army Sergeant John Kinley, who was saved by an Afghan interpreter Ahmed after an ambush. When Kinley discovers that Ahmed and his family were not provided with safe passage to America as promised, he must attempt to make good on his commitment by going back to the conflict area to get them before the Taliban start looking for them. The Covenant departs from Guy Ritchie's previous works in that it places a strong emphasis on character development and tackles much more weighty topics. Furthermore, it is Gyllenhaal's most secure part, giving Salim more room to shine in a bigger lead than most of his Hollywood roles have so far.